Welcome back to Switch Corner. My name is Alex and today we're going to be taking a look at Haven on the Nintendo Switch, a sci-fi based RPG love story. I guess that would be the best summary, but is it worth your time and cash? Well, that's what I'm here to find out, so hit subscribe if you love the Switch as much as we will do here. Join our growing family and let's get started. So story on this one, it follows a young couple in love, U and K. They have escaped a world where everything is basically controlled, including the ones you're allowed to love. They found themselves essentially here on a lost planet together after they escaped. Their ride and home base, it's a small ship called the Nest. This is a story that's going to cover everything from where they came from to the home world and what it was like to the ups and downs of their relationship. Of course, like any good love story though, there's also those that want to tear you apart and you will need to kind of like battle that opposition. I'll leave it there. Story here is really what you are coming for, so to avoid any spoilers, just know that the story was absolutely fantastic. The characters are realistic with very real flaws and the chemistry in the writing is incredible. So gameplay, and we have a few different elements going on here, but I think it can be best summarized as exploration, collectathon style of gameplay, and then minor RPG mechanics. First, the general idea is this: your ship has broken down. You need to find now the necessary parts to repair it. That means move from location to location as you go through a day and night cycle and collect two elements. That's going to be rust and then a key piece of the machinery. Rust is the red stuff you'll be seeing in the footage behind me, and you'll be collecting this by simply moving over it. Movement though here, it is fast and an absolute pleasure. Kind of reminds me in a way of the old school Jet Set Radio, for those that remember it, as you kind of hear though glide through the air. You can walk too, but rarely did I unless I was picking something up, honestly, because who doesn't want to use flying boots when you have them? This flight though is then powered by something known as flow. It's an energy source essentially, and it's the blue lines you're going to be seeing me follow throughout. Follow them though and you'll be powering up. Run out of juice and you'll be hunting down one of these so you can kind of get the energy back. They're frequent though, this never got annoying. Now as you can see as well, there's two characters on screen at most moments and you can freely jump between them by simply pushing down on the D-pad. So yeah, the main bulk of the game is right there. Fly about, explore, find flow bridges, hop from location to location, which is detailed in a handy map that you do get early on in the game. And while you're exploring, you'll have that core goal of basically gather resources, whether that's equipment you can use, things to repair the ship. You may be looking for things like food so you can cook, or items to craft, things along the lines of a health pack. The gameplay then really is topped off with the RPG elements, and this mainly comes in the form of basic combat moments. It's not a challenging game at all. In fact, the game actually advises you when you first boot it up a new run, we suggest normal difficulty because this is not supposed to be a difficult game. It adds though for some nice variety these combat moments because the combat really is unique. You'll be controlling both characters at once. You'll have K on the left side of the screen, U on the right. And here at the core of it, we're getting four options: a shield, which if one character activates, it's going to protect both; impact and blast, which are two different attack types; and then pacify, which does kind of slightly change throughout the playthrough, but think of it as the finishing move. Once you stun an enemy, once they're knocked down, you'll activate this to finish the battle. For the most part, it's basically releasing these animals from the rust that has poisoned them and sent them kind of into like this frantic attack mode. This combat's great though. It's all about working out not only how to best move and attack together, but also what attack will impact the enemy most. So for example, one attack type may stun them before you land the other attack, following for some serious damage. Fights I wouldn't say are particularly frequent. You can easily avoid many if you choose to as well, but I really enjoyed them as it gets deeper and you can perform unison attacks. They're simple, you hold the same attack type, both characters, and a spinning dial shows up on screen that you need to match, but it made for this unique gameplay method because I was using the D-pad for one character and then the right stick for the other at the same time. Now you might be asking yourself, do you level up here and all that good stuff? It's not a typical level up system, rather the strength of the bond between these two. If that improves, you will see a pair of drinks flash on screen. This signifies a celebration moment. This occurs back at the base, back at the nest, and you can basically have a celebration, a victory, a drink, and this will add, points and level you up. So think strength in things like your max health, your individual attacks, your maneuverability, your unison attacks as well. Now again, I want to keep this as spoiler free as possible, but just know this is for sure a repetitive gameplay loop. As I say, explore, gather, occasionally fight, return to the nest, get back out there, do it all again. It's the story you should be coming here for. When I saw this was coming from the game bakers though, the genius minds behind the incredibly challenging boss rush game Fury, I expected honestly something similar, something that was going to hand me my ass, and I couldn't have been more wrong. This to me shows they're not only masters of gameplay but storytelling as well, because this is my second time now playing Haven. It was one of my favourite games right around the launch of the PlayStation 5. It was for sure, it was actually in my top 5 games of 2020 for the PS5, and I was just psyched to see it head to the Switch. That said though, this Switch build, not all perfect. There's a few issues we do need to discuss. First, frame rate wise, it's mostly fine, but there are stutters here and there, and I noticed a few particular areas later in the game where it would maybe freeze for a split second a moment. Think these latter ones though may have been more the game catching up, loading things in. The more frustrating issue though, crashes, and a fair few of them. I didn't keep track of specifically how many, only saving factor of them. Haven has this fantastic autosave system. They nearly always happened on load screens between locations, and when I jumped immediately back in, thankfully I was on the other side of the load screen and I wasn't, heading into having to replay a section over again. While I do mention load screens as well, they are for sure longer on the Switch build than other consoles, and you'll be seeing them a lot as you do jump between these islands. Fortunately though, there are some real nice character drawings in the lower left corner in these moments, just to keep you a little bit entertained from simply looking at a spinning dial or something pretty typical of a loading screen. Gameplay wise though, look, as I said, it's not breaking any boundaries with its almost minimalist gameplay. The collector fun style of things, exploration, it's nothing you've not seen before. The hover boots though, they definitely add for their own unique spin on the formula. The same then can be said for the combat, as you're controlling 2 characters at once. Come here though for that science fiction love story and you will not be disappointed. Want to see everything as well? Expect basically a lot to do, from exploring each region to clearing out all the rust to finding every small secret and trinket hidden within them. It even has 2-player co-op, and while that's challenging at points as it remains a single camera as you fly, so you don't want to veer off screen. The cutscenes, the dialogue decisions, the combat, they are great fun as you either decide responses together or you need to actually get your attacks now in unison rather than controlling both yourself. Graphically, it's for sure seen a Switch downgrade, but it's absolutely stunning still, and honestly, a bit of minor pixelation cannot hold this one back. The almost cel-shaded style it has is stunning. The locations for sure repetitive in design at times, but they combat this with the verticality of the locations. Some might have craters, waterfalls, beaches, mountains. You think of it, they'll probably have it. You'll want to dive in and look around every single inch of it. Characters then, they're accompanied with hand-drawn designs for dialogue moments, and these are also stunning and really bring our characters to life. The only issue I may have graphically, honestly, there's some pop-in, but these are some decent sized sandbox locations, and honestly I never felt like it impacted my run or put me in a bad situation. It was more stuff like grass popping in rather than, let's say, an entire enemy appearing maybe a few inches ahead of me. Audio finally, and again top quality stuff. The music has been provided by Danger, and it's a mostly electronic score that finds it's got this good balance basically between electronic, yet it's not too synthesized. It has the human touch which you want when the story is, centered around love. The locations then, some minor sound effects along with combat sounds as well, but the real winner for me here, it's got to be the voice acting. Every single character here comes with full-on recorded dialogue, and especially you and Kay, who are obviously the main focus. I think the voice actors here did some really good work to capture the emotion from these two, from the happy moments to the down to the trying. So yeah, kudos to their skills for this delivery. So overall, Haven is a game I adored on my first run. The science fiction setting and love story, for me it absolutely worked. I got to learn about these characters and this world before it then threw me into the action and the threat they were facing. Basically what really hooked me, the one real factor here, was the game spent time making sure that I cared about these characters before throwing them into a situation, and that was everything from their good points to their bad points to their flaws. Sadly though, this Switch build does have its issues. I think it looks great still and sounds great still, and the gameplay is untouched, but sadly crashes definitely created some frustration that I didn't experience first time around. It naturally broke that immersion. I wish that wasn't the case, and this is the game bakers. I know they will absolutely get the issue resolved, but I can only score based on what I experienced during my time with this one. The saving grace here though for Haven, an excellent autosave system that meant I just never lost my progression, and it always picked up right from where the crash occurred, because they were, as I said, always at that same place, always during a loading screen. Today I'm giving Haven a good 7 out of 10. I'm being absolutely generous, but look, because I never lost any progress, I refuse to give this a lower score, when I know for those that do head into it, they won't regret it, and those moments of loading the game back up, it will be just a minor blip on the radar after all is said and done, because I guarantee anyone that likes a narrative focused experience will absolutely adore this, and you'll be happy you went on the ride. With that though, a shout out to the patrons of the channel who are just going above and beyond to support SwitchCorner. Helps more than you know, so thank you all so much. If you do want to check that out for yourself, I have linked it in the video description down below. Then hit subscribe if you love the Switch as much as we all do here. Join our growing family, and I'll see you all on the next video. Thanks everyone.